Hey folks, this is Ronald again, and today we are going to proceed with our how-to video series about Dungeon Universalis, and this time we will talk about damage and conditions. But before we do this, I want to welcome all the new subscribers to the channel. It's very great and amazing to see how many people are interested in these videos, and I hope they will help you all. And we will all have some fun together and make a better understanding of Dungeon Universalis at all. And so it's time again to make my little disclaimer I've already made in the past. So if you're new to the channel, it's important for me to say that I am not a kind of professional player or something. I am making these videos just because I want to spread the word for the game and to teach you to have a better and easier learning of the game, but the videos are not meant as a replacement for the rulebook, so please always read the rulebook, and I think you have to read it all over over and over again. And these videos are only meant as an addition for the rulebook, but not as a replacement, and this is very important to tell over and over again, so it's not getting missed. And yes, then I think we can start. And this is a very important chapter of the rulebook. I have always left out in the previous videos, even if we had already talked about melee combat and range combat and magic. And it's also a dedicated chapter in the rulebook, because every combat style or combat type or whatever will lead always to the damage chapter. And because I suck at video editing, I've made this very nice analog special effect. So we have, that's what I said just 2 seconds ago, melee, range and magic. Each type of attack, if they are going to hit, will lead to the same damage calculation, and conditions may apply, and it's always the same. There's no difference if this guy is making a melee attack with his axe or whatever he is carrying, if he's shooting, or if she is throwing some spells at this little guy here. And so we don't have to talk about the combat types themselves, because I've already made this, just watch the other videos, and so we just can concentrate and focus on how to roll for the damage, finally how can we calculate how many damage we make if we are going to hit an opponent in the combat. Okay, this is pretty easy. Let's start with very simple things about this. You have got vitality points, these over here, and you've got armor, and this is very important. This is your natural armor. This means your natural physical resistance to any damage, so your skin and how robust your bones are or whatever. But you can power this up with some kind of armor. In this case it's a breastplate. It will add a plus of 2 to your natural armor if it's about to roll for damage by physical damage. There are spells that will go directly against your natural armor, or maybe there are spells going, you have to roll against your intelligence or constitution, sorry, or courage value, but in general you're rolling against the armor value. And if this guy is wearing this breastplate, he will have an armor value of 6 because he has 4 in natural armor, and you have plus 2 by wearing this breastplate. A 4 is a nice value in my experience. Mostly humans and elves are having a 3 in this, so he has already gotten a nice default value of his armor. You never can level up this value, and you never can Okay, forgot what I wanted to say, because I also forgot it. Okay, then how to deal the damage. Let's see, let's see some weapons. This halberd says how many damage rolls we are, how many damage dice we are going to roll, and how the armor of the enemy is affected if there are modifiers. So this breast armor is giving you a +2 to your armor, while if you're getting hit by the halberd, you will receive a penalty of -1. So once again, this guy has 4 in natural armor plus an armor of 2, but when he's so it's 6. But when you're going to he's getting attacked and hit by a halberd, this is reduced by -1. So his effective armor value in the end we have to roll against is 5. 4 plus 2 minus 1. Okay. There are weapons. Some you have to watch out for this. They have the staff in this case has a +1 in armor, so the enemy will get a plus to his armor because this is just some kind of stick you're going to attack with somebody, and he will get a plus to his armor value. But there are 2 limitations. They are very important. You can never ever, even with magic or whatever, meaningless what will happen to you and what will affect you. You can never raise your armor value above 6, so 6 is the absolute maximum, while when you're rolling for damage, rolling a 1 is never a hit in any case. So even if you've gotten an enemy with a natural armor of let's say 2, and you're attacking with a halberd, so his armor value is going will be decreased by 1, so he will have an effective armor value of 1. Even in this case, if you're rolling a 1 with a die, you will not make any damage with this, and this is very important to know. Okay, so I've given you a little preview when it's going to when we are going to roll the dice. Then we have to check how many damage we make and how many dice we will take, and this is calculated by this value. Each weapon has a damage value, and very often it's damage equal to your strength value of the character who's using the weapon, maybe +1 or -1 or +2 or whatever. Some weapons, for example ranged weapons, have a fixed value, so it's not I'm going to seek one, I'm sorry. So where's my bow? It's over here. So this has a fixed value, so it's meaningless who is shooting with this bow. If it's a large creature or a small one, you will make... Oh, forget what I was saying. There's a special rule in this. Forget about it. Just think the one who's shooting with this will make a damage of 3 generally. And with melee weapons, this is because it makes a difference if a small goblin is using this weapon, or a large ogre, or maybe a troll or whatever. They will make more damage if they have more strength, and this is pretty logical to me, and hopefully for you too. Alright, so if Croxer is going over here to this evil goblin, then, and he's attacking with his halberd, let's ignore that this is a long-ranged weapon. Let's just ignore this. He will make a damage of his strength. His strength has a value of 4. So if he manages to hit this little guy, and the camera's still bad, so if he's going to hit him and he cannot defend, then you will roll 4 dice as the base value when you are making to hit. So let's pretend, let's make a roll and fake some. Oh, we don't have to fake it. This is a pretty nice example. So we have a common value and a roll of 5 for the enemy and 7 for Croxor. Here's a common value of 4. Here's a common value of maybe it's a common value of 3. So there's a result of 8 against a result of 11. So Croxor has won the fight. He has managed to hit this little guy. And then we will roll with, let's make it easy for the beginning, we will roll with 4 damage dice and see if we can hit this poor guy. So as I told you, that's a nice result, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see his stats. This is a small goblin warrior. He has a natural armor of 3. He's equipped with an light armor, so he has an effective armor value of 4. So we have to roll our damage dice, and each dice equal or higher than a 4 will make some damage. But you may remember this. Where's my halberd card? Ah, here, over here. Our halberd is making -1 for the armor, so we will subtract a -1 to this, so his effective armor value is 3 again, as if he wouldn't wear any armor. So each die of 3 or higher is making some damage, and this means these dice are going to hit, and so he will take 2 wounds, 2 damage, and this would already be enough to kill him, because he only has got 4 vitality points. If these are going to 0, this guy is knocked out. Knocked out is another term for killed. So if it's a dark player's character, it will be removed from the game and can be looted afterwards. If it's a hero's character, you will lay it down face up. So when you're going knocked out or killed, and it's not, no, maybe even killed isn't the real term. For enemy characters, it's the same like killed. For heroes, it's maybe not the definitely end. We'll have a look at this in a few minutes. And so this guy would be dead. Let's pretend we haven't rolled a 3 in this, so it's only a 2. So this guy has still 1 vitality point, but because we have rolled a 6, we have made a critical hit. It's meaningless if you have attacked by melee, by ranged attacks, or by magic. Even with magic, if you roll a 6 in your attack roll, and you will always roll 1 damage die for each 6 you have rolled in your attack more. So this means you can add another die and roll with 5 dice. And let's see, this would have been a 5, so guy is knocked out again. This is for 1d6 with a 6. If we have made a double critical with 2d6 with 2 6, then we will roll just another one. Then we would have made damage with 6 dice. We can roll this and make him even more knocked out than before. Not only knocked out, but more knocked out. And this is the consequence of a critical hit. And there are some other effects coming with critical hits. When we are going to talk about shields, what we are not doing in this video, but in a dedicated video, then double criticals will make even more damage or have more effect. And yeah, that's it. I guess these are the basics, but this is only half of things you do when you manage to hit. And so I say it once again, if the damage was dealt by her with the magic and or with a bow, also roll 1 damage die for each 6 you roll in your attack, more than you would roll again. So if last example, or an almost last example, this is having this short bow is making a fixed damage of 3 damage dice, and if she rolls to attack him, let's see, great example again. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my camera is going down. I will try to cut this out from the video. No, I won't. So she has managed to attack him and to hit him with her bow. We will roll 3 dice for damage, but if we would have rolled a 6 in this, we will take 4 damage dice, 3 plus 1 for the 6. That's the whole secret of rolling for damage. And but it's like I told you, it's only the half of the things you have to do when you're managing to hit another guy, an enemy, because we have something called conditions in Dungeon Universalis, and there are a lot of conditions. You can get stunned, wounded, knocked down, disease, poisoned, or even knocked out. We have seen this. And there's another condition called stationary. You won't get stationary or immobilized, or however you want to call it, by an attack, maybe by a spell or something. But it's a condition, and so I left it in the list. That's also in the chapter. And let's see, there is a table in the book. I will show you. You always have to check if you're going to hit an enemy. There is this table. I hope I won't move the camera with this. So even if you have the first thing when you're going to hit is you roll for damage, and even if you don't make any damage with your hit, you have to check this table too. So in any case, and if you have hidden the enemy by range, by magic, by melee, whatever, you will check this condition chart after you have rolled for the damage, and then you can see if it has further effects on the enemy. So you have to read this by you are the attacker, and if you are larger or smaller than your enemy, then this will happen if you have this effect. So if you are much smaller than your enemy, much smaller is two heights smaller, so maybe a goblin compared to an ogre, which is large, then this is 2 sizes, because a goblin is small, then there comes average, and after that there's large. Or an average character like a human compared to maybe a giant, which is huge, then there are 2 steps, so you are two steps smaller or 2 steps higher than your enemy, and this is much smaller or much larger. And smaller or larger is 1 step, or the same, which is the equal size. So if you're a human attacking an elf, which both are average height, then you have to check this row. So, but if you are, in this case, Croxor is average, this little guy is small, then Croxor is larger, 1 step larger than his enemy. So if he will roll a normal attack without any 6 in his hit, we are not talking about the damage roll anymore, we are just talking about the hit in the melee. Let's see if we have rolled this, and so he has managed to hit the goblin in the melee test, and then we will check this table, and so this hasn't had any critical hits, so we check we are larger than the goblin, and this will have no effect because we haven't made a critical hit. But if we have rolled a 6 in our attack and would have made a critical hit, then we will check again, we are larger, then we will knock down our enemy. So after rolling for the damage, he will get knocked down. And if we have rolled a double critical, then also we will knock him down. And this is also important if it's otherwise this guy manages to hit Croxor and he is smaller, then we have to check this row, because now the goblin is smaller than the Croxor who is average, and we roll a double critical in our attack. So make it real. He is attacking him, rolls a double critical. Croxor cannot avoid this, he will roll for the damage, and after this, after rolling for the damage, the goblin will check this table and see I am smaller than my enemy, but I've made a double critical, so the Croxer, the larger warrior, the average height warrior, will get stunned. Okay, and if we are managing to knock down this guy by making maybe a double critical or even a normal critical, would allow if Croxer is hitting him and has a critical hit. Let's check again. It's Croxer's larger than the goblin. Then the goblin will be knocked down. We have it face down, or maybe I made a mistake. Some minutes ago I told you to lay your miniature with your hero with face up when you are knocked out. This is wrong. You have to lay it face down when you're knocked out. When you are knocked down, which is much better than being knocked out, then you lay it face up. So this really doesn't make a real difference in the game, because you know if you're knocked out or you're knocked down. But just to correct this in this video, I wanted to say, okay. Then this guy is knocked down after a critical hit, even if he has already some vitality. And then let's see what this means. After getting knocked down, he will also move him one space back, like if he has gotten pushed. This is one of the effects of getting knocked down by this. And but for the example, there are some conditions that can apply. You can get first you can get stunned. You can take this marker to show a character as stunned. Stunned has some penalties for all your attributes. So if you're getting stunned, let's pretend Croxer would have gotten stunned, then all of his attributes would be decreased by 1, except natural armor, which is pretty logical, and vitality, which is pretty logical, that they are not affected by the effects of being stunned. And all the other ones are affected. So if he has a movement of 5, then he will have a movement of 4, and a combat skill of 3, and a strength of 3, and so on and so on. So this is an effect if you are getting stunned, and also you cannot run anymore. So you cannot do a run action, which is maybe important if you want to flee from the dungeon and you are not in combat anymore or whatever, and you cannot run. Okay, then you can get wounded. We use this little marker with the skull and the crosses. And while I'm trying to talk again, I will search some other markers. And this won't work. I'm sorry, it's no marker I've been searching for, because I've forgotten to pull them out. Okay. But now I'm ready again. I'm sorry. There is another condition called wounded, and we will take this. I've already put this here. I'm sorry. Wounded. This guy's wounded. This is you're getting automatically wounded if your vitality comes to only 1 point left. So even if this goblin warrior, when he has only 1 vitality left, he will get wounded automatically, and this also affects him and any other character. If you are getting wounded, or if you are wounded, then you will also have the same effects like being stunned, so -1 penalty to all attributes except armor and vitality, and you're also not able to run. If you're through any effect, maybe a healing potion or a healing spell, and you will raise your you increase your vitality over 1 again, back to 2 or to whatever you have, then you will lose the condition of wounded, and then you're back in business with your normal stats if you haven't any other conditions. And then you can also have the condition of diseased, and we use this little guy here, this plague doctor, which is a pretty cool marker. And if the focus would work, yeah, this doctor, if he's getting diseased by maybe a spell or a potion or whatever effect can cause this, then you have the same penalties as stunned, and you cannot remove this only by potions and healing spells, or healers can remove this condition, so it won't get away. Oh, I've forgotten to tell you, I'm sorry, if you are stunned, you can remove this condition on your every activation. So if you are going to activate your character, depending on meaningless if it's a mercenary, an animal, or a dark player's character or a hero, you roll before you do anything. You roll with a d6, and if you're rolling a 4 or higher, then the condition of stunned is removed, and you make this at the beginning of your activation. So, but if you are diseased, you cannot remove this by a roll or whatever. You have to get help by some equipment or other guys. And the same is for poisoned. You can get poisoned by weapons or by lizards spitting in your face or whatever you can imagine. And if you are poisoned, you have the same penalties as stunned. You have -1 to everything. And you also can remove this condition by potions, by healing spells, or maybe by place or service or whatever. I'm not sure about this at this moment, but yeah, like diseased, you have to need help from other ones, from a spell or a potion or whatever, to get rid of this. And this is very important, all of these can get stacked. So you can be stunned, poisoned, wounded, and diseased at the same time, and knocked down too. And for all of these, you're getting the penalties, and then you can get, you have very bad stats, as you can imagine. I guess there's the rule that an attribute can never go under 1, if I'm remembering this correctly. But please check the rulebook in this. This would mean you have a character with attributes of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 left, and this is very bad, I guess. Okay, but this shouldn't happen so often that you're getting diseased and poisoned at the same time, but stunned and wounded happen very often to me. And yes, if you are knocked down, you can try to get up in your next activation, or you will automatically do this to get up again. Let me check something. You have no melee range if you are knocked down, and you will not block any line of sight because you're laying on the ground, and this doesn't block any line of sight. And if you're going to, if he's getting attacked while he's knocked down and lying on the floor, then the attacker will always get the bonus for attacking from behind. And with this coming, you can use your shield, because it's the same as getting attacked from behind, and then you can use your shield. To recover from knockdown, you will just have to start your next activation. And let's see. If you're going knocked down by any cause, by a hit, by a spell that is dedicated for knocking down something, there's a spell you can knock down an enemy. You will automatically getting stunned too. So whatever coming from what event, you will get stunned if you are getting knocked down. And this is important because both both conditions stack, and you have the penalties for both of them, and the condition of stunned won't get automatically removed at the beginning of your next turn. You have to roll the die. And let's see. We have left out stationary for the moment. Stationary also has a marker for this. If a guy is stationary because he was sorcered by a wizard or whatever, then then it's easier for ranged attacks to attack him. They will get a bonus for shooting at him, and if he's getting attacked in melee, they will make an auto hit, so they don't have to roll. They can have a blunder because of this. They just roll the damage dice, and this is very nasty. But the condition of stationary hasn't happened to me in my campaign, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm in the middle of the campaign, I guess. Okay. Let's see. We can, if you're going to get knocked out as a hero, so you have face down this time, I say it correctly. Then you're done with the game for the moment. You cannot do anything there again until the quest is over. And there's a spell to call the Phoenix, where you can rise a hero up again that is knocked out, or mercenary and a pet, whatever. And then you can go back into action. But this is the only thing, I guess, how to recover someone who's knocked out. And then if you're knocked out, you cannot do anything. You have to wait for your companions to carry you out of the dungeon. And if they manage this, or if they can't manage this, then there are some outcome. And there's a dedicated page in the manual for this, so you have to you can read this on your own. I won't go through this in detail, but if your comrades can recover your corpse or your body, so you're not a corpse already, then you have to roll if you're really dead, or if you're just injured. And if you're not able to recover the body, then you will roll what happens to you. And if the other heroes can play the quest or the map again and try to free you and whatever, and you can suffer some permanent injuries. And yes, this is a page with a large dice rolling table that reminds me of the rulebook of Advanced Hero Quest, which is full of these tables. I never played this game, but I've read the rulebook because I was highly interested, because it was often compared to Dungeon Universalis. And yes, this is why this page reminds me heavily of the Advanced Hero Quest rulebook. And let's check my notes if I've missed anything. We had the conditions, we had the armor, the maximum armor value of 6, then the result of 1 that never causes any damage. We had the conditions: wounded, knockdown, stunned, diseased, poisoned, stationary, knocked out, and the death. And I guess, or I hope I haven't missed anything. There's one thing left, a small line in the book that says that all doors and walls and stationary targets like this are considered as having an heavy armor. This is nice to know, or important to know if you want to play really correctly, because there are weapons like the scimitar that are dealing less damage dice when you're attacking a target that has having heavy armor. So if this guy is wearing a scimitar attacking my Croxer, who's wearing a breastplate which is heavy armor, then he won't make his strength maybe a 3 plus 2. He would only make damage of 3 of his strength, and because of this penalty. And this is also for attacking doors, and you often have to break doors because they are getting locked by the dark player, and then this is important to know that your damage is reduced because the door has heavy armor. And this is the last thing I guess I wanted to say. If you have if you like this, or if you didn't like this, then please rate the video so I can see if I'm doing my job well. And if you have found something that I haven't said, or I have said it wrong, then please write it down in the comments so we can discuss. And I've forgotten to say my disclaimer, I'm very bad at math. I have a kind of disease in this, and so if you have seen anything that didn't make sense with some numbers, then there's a high chance that this is a poor mistake of me, so please write it down, and we can figure it out. So I'm closing this video. We are over 30 minutes again. Thank you for your attention, and we'll see again, I hope so, when we are talking about shields and everything about shields. Shield with range combat, shield with magic, shield in melee, shield with pushing and not pushing, and not using shields, and whatever. This will be also a video of about 20 minutes, I guess. Let's see how this will go. And after that, we have some more looks into the playing against a dark player, or how the dark player works, the artificial dark player and the normal dark player, what are the differences. And yes, let's see what other videos will come then. Have a great day, and bye.